Hello everyone! So today we're going to make a CRUD, create, read, update and delete using MongoDB and NestJS. And this is just like a simple application, just so that kind of like a first steps, so that you can understand how this works. And okay, so to create a new project, we're gonna make nest new CRUD Mongo nest. We're gonna use npm. And while he's creating everything, I'm going to use this MongoDB compass. We have these users, the CRUD Mongo here, database, and we have the users collection. I think we have something here. I don't know if you can update that. Okay, so there is nothing here, which is kind of like okay. And we're going to use this, and we're also going to use this endpoints over here, which is the create, get user, delete user, get our users, and patch a new user. So we are passing the ID here on the root for the delete and get user, and for the create and get our users, it's just the root, which is the users. Let's see if it finished. Almost finished. Okay, so we're also going to use the Mongoose package from NestJS. He has a module for so that we can work with the Mongoose. So now we're going to install the Mongoose and NestJS Mongoose over here. And it's just finishing. So the Mongoose is there so that we can work with the MongoDB. And now we're going to also install the class transformer and class validator. That is important for us to validate our calls to the database and also to our endpoint. Okay, we're going to open our project with code space dot. I'm going to open this using VS Code. I can close here. I can get this a little bit bigger. I think I installed this on the wrong folder. So I'm going to delete this. And I'm going to come back here. Let's put cd CRUD Mongo nest. In here, I'm actually going to install the Nest Mongoose and the class validators. Okay. Okay. So now that everything's correct, I can come here and see. So this is the source. We have our specs are the tests that we don't need it. We can delete this. Not going to use this for now. We have our app service module and controller for this app and the main so that we can listen on port 3000. We are going to create now a new folder with app controller module and service. So the controller is tell us which routes there are on that module. The module they kind of like control everything from the controller, the service and imports and exports and everything. And the service is where we get the logic from the root itself. So we're gonna create a new root here for the users. So we're gonna use nest g resource. What this does, it's going to create for us the REST API for us to work with. So what name should I use for the resources? Let's put users. It's going to be a REST API, and I want it to generate like a CRUD app, a CRUD endpoint. So we're going to create the folders and the files with everything ready for us. So we have the users here. We don't need these entities. Delete this. And inside here we have these specs. No, this and this. Can delete. We have the module for the users. We have the controller where we have the routes with the post, get by ID, patch, and delete route. So we have the users as the route itself, and the ID is a param here. And we have the service, which is the logic from every single route gets here. You can see there are errors here. There are end line errors. And for that, I'm going to go to the ESLint and paste this here, just so that we can stop getting these errors. Okay, now there is no error anymore, and we are good to go. I'm going to run this project, so npm run start dev. This is going to see if everything is working correct until now. And okay, no errors, everything is working fine. And now we can get informations. If I try to kind of like create a user, it's going to return this action adds a new user, which is exactly what is here on the service. This action calls adds a new user. So he goes for the controller. He says, okay, controller users, I'm trying to create something, which is the create here with this post here. And he's saying this post here, so he's saying go, okay, so go to the logic file, and he's turning this action is a new action adds a new user. Perfect. Now we actually need to make this work, so we go to the main, not to the main, actually go to the app module. We need to make the connection with our Mongo database. Inside here, what we're going to do is add this connection. So we're gonna go to the Mongoose module, the for feature. Inside here, you're gonna create this connection for us. Just a second, let me get the name. It's not actually, it's not the for feature, it's the for root. So that we can work if, and now we're gonna put our string, the connection string that we get from Mongo actually. So if you're using the Mongo itself, you can get the connection there. But since I'm using the local host, this compass over here, MongoDB compass, this is the connection. This is the database that we have, which is this database is here, CRUD Mongo. Okay, I can save this, and this is for a connection. Now I need to, let me see. Okay, so no errors, everything is working fine. I need to create the create user DTO and update user DTO. These are used so when I try to create a user, we add here some validations, and these validations is going to make things work. So if I put like the wrong fields, it's going to give like a warning. If I miss something, or if I put something incorrect, it's going to give like a warning before trying to actually add a new user to the database. So for this create user DTO, we need to create, let's put like use some only like 2 fields. Let's use like username, which is going to be string, and age, it's going to be a number. Let's save. And so we need to validate this, and to make the validations correct, let's put like it's not empty. I'm going to copy this and put this here. Here I'm going to put is number. And here I'm going to put is string. Okay, so I'm safe. So for these validations to work, I need to go to the main, and before the app listen, I need to put the use global pipes, and make new validation pipe. Okay, so what this does is, okay, so for every route, you need to validate if everything's correct. So if I'm come here and I forget this, and I try to save, it's going to say, okay, so we are missing the username and age. Age should be a number, user should be a string, and everything is empty. If I go back and I try to add, you say everything's correct. Since you're not actually trying to add anything to the database as yet, it's not returning anything. Okay, so we actually make the connection to the database, to the user's collection. Actually, we're going to create a new folder. Let's call it schemas. So the schemas is going to do is tell, okay, what is the structure from that database? So we're going to make a new file here. I'm going to call user.schema.ts. Inside here, I'm going to create a schema. So this schema, I'm going to make a sports class user. And this user is the same as the create user DTO. So username, string, age, number. I can save this, and I need a prop validation here to make sure that these information are correct when I try to add this to our database. So here I'm going to put the unique field to true and the required to true. I can copy this, and I'm gonna keep everything besides I'm gonna remove the unique here. So if I try, I'm going to add this string part. If I try to make a username with the same field, same name as the other username, is going to give me a warning because this is a unique field. And both fields are required when you're trying to add this to the collections from the database. Okay, I can save this. Now, if I actually want to make this work, I'm going to the controller. You can see that we receive the body from is the create user DTO, and the body, which is this username and age, is actually where these validations are coming from. And then we are going to the user service to make, okay, let's create this user. And here we can actually create the user, but before that we need to make the connection with the collection. So make a constructor, and we're going to inject model. It's going to be, we need to use the user.name so that we know the collection. It's going to be a private user model import from mongoose, and use the user from the user schema. And this is our constructor. And now I can actually come here and try to add a new user here with const user. We can make like new user equal to new this dot user module. So this user module is a class, that's why you're using this new, and we're going to pass the body from our endpoint here, so which is the create user DTO. Now we need to only return the new user.save, and you can save and everything is correct. Let's see if we can actually add this. Okay, something is wrong. Please make sure the user model. Okay, so before that we need to actually come to our module and make this connection with our collections here. So we need imports, and we have like mongoose module. Here we have the for feature, and we're gonna pass here all the collections that we're actually trying to work inside this module. So the name is user.name, and the schema is user schema. I want you to import. We don't have the schema here. Okay, so the user is importing here. We don't have the user schema. User schema I need to export from here. So export const user schema equal to we need to use the schema factor dot create for class, and now I need to just pass the user here. Okay, so now we have the user schema created, and I can save. I think everything's correct here. Okay, now if I actually try to internal server error, username is required. I think I misspelled the DTO. Username I actually misspelled when you're trying to create on the database itself. So now I think it's okay. And here I created the user junior with the age 40. The ID for that, we don't need to actually create the ID on the schemas. You don't need to tell Mongo to make the field ID. He's just going to make it automatically. Okay, so we have the create. Now we can get like get all. So service here, find all. I think you can just return like this dot user model dot find. Let's save. Let's see if this is going to work. Get our users. Oh, we already had some users there on the database. Okay, so we have 3 more. We have one junior, which is just the one we just created here. Cândido, which is my name. Silva, which is my middle name. And Junior, which is my last name. So we have these 3 users here from our database. Okay, so we have this. Now we're going to make the next one, which is the get the specifically user. It's kind of like we're gonna send this as a param, it's like a root param. The ID is a string, but it's kind of like turning into a number here, so you can remove this plus sign. Let's save it. It's giving an error because I'm using this as a number, but this is a string, so I can save this here. Okay, so find one. I think we can just make this dot user model dot find by ID and pass the ID itself. Let's save. And if I get an ID here and I get a specifically user here, okay, he's returning the ID. Should I try another one, the one that we just created? Okay, you have the one here. If I try a different one, let's say the last one is this over here. Okay, so we can get this ID over here like this. Now the other one is patch a different user, so we can come here. We can update here, so we receive this in the body, and we use the body, which is the update user DTO, to update. So we come here to the user, update user DTO, and I'm kind of gonna use the same thing here. So we can update either the username or the age, but instead of is not empty, is optional. And this is a string. I need to import that. This is a number. I need to import that. I can save it. And since this is optional, I need to put this question mark on the front of it. Okay, so these are optional fields, and this is a string and a number. Now, when I go to the update, which comes from the controller, I'm going to user service.update, and here on the update think I need to put I think it's find by ID on update. So this dot user module dot find by ID and update. I'm gonna pass the ID and the update user DTO and save. So if I come here, let's get this ID here, patch. Let me put this ID here, and I'm gonna patch this to, I don't know, Maria, and make the age 25. I send. Okay, I changed. He's returning like the last username that I had, which was Silva, another new one. If I try to send again, he's returning the last one, but since I didn't change anything, it's the same. Okay, now for the last one is delete user. So I need to come here to remove and just make this dot user model, which is our collection, and dot find by ID and delete. So I'm just pass the ID here and save. This way, if I get this user here, I think it's any user, and send, and then okay, so this is deleted. If I go to get all users, the Maria doesn't exist, which was previously the Silva username. Okay, so if I try to create something that's the same as we already have, we get an internal error because you already have that one. So you can kind of like try to get that information. If it's the same, you return a new info. And if you try to get like a new user that doesn't exist, for example, this that we just deleted, it kind of like doesn't return any error. So you can just come here on the find one by ID and actually check if there is a user. So const user equal await this dot user model dot find by ID dot exact. Since this is a await, I need to make this async, and you can make if user is going to return the user, otherwise is going to return a new HTTP error. HTTP exception, what is the name again? Let me remember. Yes, HTTP exception. And I'm gonna pass the message, which is user not found, and a forward for. Save. Let's see if it's working. So if I try to get a user that doesn't exist, I think the server was still updating. And now it's correct, so return a user not found. If I return another user, we get the user that exists. Okay, you can kind of like make the same thing for the other routes, like the remove, the update, first check if there is a user. If there is, you return, or if there isn't, you just throw an error. And yeah, that's it. I hope you enjoy it. I hope if you want to get the files and everything, you can help me with Patreon, so you can help this project and also get the files. And tell me what you want to see next, what backend projects or features or anything you want to see. And that's it. See you next time.